How many push-ups can you do in a row?
Oh boy, this wasn't in the script.
And now you're doing a 38 to 1 CR. Hey guys, what's up? So before I get into the details of today's video, I would like to start off by thanking each and every one of you for helping MPC become the largest organic community of poker players in India. Recently, we reached around 2000 members on our Discord family, which is a huge feat for us. We are super proud of all of you and of ourselves. So since MPC has always been for the people, by the people and of the people, we decided to celebrate this feat with you guys, along with a lot of new ventures that we're coming up with in the near future, and some of them we've already announced on our Discord. If you're not on our Discord, please join our Discord from the link down below. I promise you won't regret that. So yeah, anyway, coming back to the Bankroll challenge system, I'm sure a lot of you are already aware of how we do it at MPC, how we do Bankroll challenges. Along with everything that the community offers, we've also come up with a brand new reward system for people completing their Bankroll challenges. If you want more details on that, we will be announcing the reward system towards the end of this video, so please stay tuned. So anyway, coming back to the point of today's video, we are launching a brand new podcast called Your Poker Journey, where we talk to fellow monsters, including our founding members, our Bankroll challenges, and just other people from the community who have had an impact. We believe that everyone has a unique journey in poker, and we would like to bring forth some of them, celebrate them, and share them with the masses so that everyone can learn and get motivated through them. Today, we have a very special Bankroll challenger with us. And before I get to who it is, I would like to tell you a little bit about Bankroll challenges that MPC has helped people complete in the past. So at this point, as we speak, we've already had more than 100 people complete their Bankroll challenges with us. And I want to start with thanking the few early adopters, the people who had faith in us at the beginning and who did the Bankroll challenges. So here is a little slideshow celebrating their Bankroll challenges and their success. Our very own streamer, in-house Monster, is the first person to have completed a Bankroll challenge with us back in 2021, I believe. He took around 12 days to complete the challenge. So yep, super proud of that. Alright, so it's finally time for us to invite our special guest for today. He is a monster who has already completed 3 Bankroll challenges with us. He has been through the thick and thin of MPC. Back in May 2021, he finally decided to start with the Bankroll challenge. He started with 50,000 rupees playing 5-10 stakes on Pokerstar. So basically in the middle there was a 4-month period where poker got banned in Karnataka and he couldn't play. We'll also talk to him about how he felt during that period. But basically by August 2022, which was just 11 months of playtime, he has already reached a bankroll of 30 lakh rupees post-tax. So basically he made 30 lakh rupees from 50,000 in a span of 11 months. So we are here to celebrate his journey, to just talk to him about how he did it and what was going through his mind throughout the entire period. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already guessed who it is, but anyway, it's my duty to announce. So he is none other than Mr. Flameboy, Mr. Aman Madan. So yep, he's right now crushing 100-200 stakes and also probably playing 250-500 in the 4th Bankroll challenge that he's doing with us. Right now he's doing 30 lakh rupees to 1 crore, so let's wish him all the best. And without further ado, let's meet up with the monster himself. So hello Aman, welcome to MPC and Pokerstars presents Your Poker Journey. All right. Hi,
Yeah,
Aman.
let's do it.
How is it going?
It's going great, and I'm glad to be here.
Everyone associated with MPC wants to know about how your entire journey with poker has been, because you've made such humongous bankroll challenges, you've completed them. So let's start with the very basics. How did you get into poker initially?
So I was first introduced to poker through an online MMORPG game. There used to be a black market for the game where we used to gamble for in-game currency, and the site started hosting poker tournaments. So this was the first time I got to know what poker was. I wasn't familiar with the term initially. So I started to learn the rules, and I used to play those tournaments for in-game currency. But I started playing with real money a year and a half later.
Nice, nice. So I'm pretty sure as a young adult you must have had other ideas as well, including trading, freelancing, and whatnot. So why particularly poker? Like, what brought you to poker particularly?
So that's a good question. My dad, by profession, is a trader. He trades stocks. He has his own company, and my background is in finance. So my education has been in finance, and I think I want to pursue it in the future. But the reason I gave poker priority over other professions like freelancing or even an internship or a part-time job is solely because of the money. I realized that poker has an incredible amount of money, especially in India, and as like a young graduate or just a young college student, you will not find this much money anywhere else.
Makes sense, makes sense. So once you started playing poker, you got introduced to MPC. Could you just walk us through how you found out about MPC?
Right. So when I first started playing poker with real money, I used to look up videos on YouTube of people playing, and I was more focused on Indian YouTubers because they used to play on sites that I was familiar with.
Right.
And there was this YouTuber called Poker Life India where he talked about a free Discord study group where you could meet with professional poker players, recreational poker players, you could discuss hands, you could get hands reviewed by free from coaches, and that Discord was MPC. So that's how I first came across.
Actually, you've been with MPC before I even joined or got to know about MPC, so I'm pretty sure you would have some more insights of how MPC was initially and like what the atmosphere was like. So, like, could you just tell us how this MPC journey has been? What changes have you seen throughout the MPC journey?
I wish I could tell you, but initially I was a recreational poker player. I was a fish without knowing I was a fish. So I did not really bother looking at the material, the resources, the hand history reviews. I just had this assumption that I was just good at the game and I would easily be winning. 2 years or a year and a half down the line is when I actually looked at the resources and I started my own bankroll challenge. Prior to that, I was actually a losing player for 6 months.
Right. So you just talked about how you started your BRC after a point. So like, how did you, like, what motivated you to start a bankroll challenge? What was that like?
Initially, the only reason for starting a bankroll challenge was public accountability. At that point, I knew that I was good enough to beat 10NL and 1025. I had put in the work and the skill, but I had absolutely no discipline, and I used to make my roll, grind the lower stakes, then I used to just jump to higher stakes and punt it all away, and this cycle used to repeat. So to make myself accountable, and honestly I perform well under pressure, and to put a little bit of pressure on myself in the form that other people are actually going to follow this challenge, they'll want updates from me, I decided that I will start this bankroll challenge and I will try my best to update it as frequently as I can.
Correct. Are there any people associated with like who motivated you through this and who like helped you through this journey? Like, would you want to credit somebody any merits in this regard?
Throughout my journey, I actually haven't been coached. I relied on the community I found through MPC, and with their help, I was able to reach here. Throughout my journey, this is in no particular order. Members of MPC, the admins like Dipanjan Bhai, even you itself, Sumit, these guys were always there for me when I had nothing. They were there to motivate me, to encourage me, to wish me luck. And as my challenge progressed, as I moved up stakes, as my role started to build, I started interacting with regs that were members of MPC, and we used to discuss strategy, talk about hands. I met better players, and I used to ask them to review my hand history, to teach me stuff. So players like Bharat Wadwani, Aspiring Phoenix, Kunal, Divakar, so Rishabh, Nitin, So these guys have played a really important role in getting me to where I am.
So once you started with the BRC, where was your major volume? What websites were you playing?
So initially, the only website I played on was Pokerstars, and I didn't consider any other website.
Oh, why is that? Is there any particular?
Right. So there were several reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One was I used to watch Sordi KRD streams, and he only streamed exclusively for Pokerstars. That was one. So I used to look up to Sordi, and since he played on Pokerstars, I was by default attracted to Pokerstars.
Right.
And I only had Bankroll for a single site. But as I got better, as I learned about more technical aspects, I realized that Pokerstars had the lowest rake, the fastest software, and the best security features. So I decided to stick with Pokerstars for all my cash game action.
Nice. Like in on my honest opinion, I've also been playing with Pokerstars for the longest period. Like I started with Pokerstars.com back in 2016, and I'm like, I don't think there's any other clients which match up to that seamless experience in terms of gameplay as well as in terms of cash outs and basically everything associated with poker.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think no software is as smooth as Pokerstars.
Correct.
Plus, it works with my favorite hard PT4. So it cannot get better than that.
So now that we've talked about a little bit about poker, I want to also know how your parents, how your friends outside of poker feel about you playing poker, because like of course poker is a game which is very associated with the social stigma of jua gambling in the outer world. So like how your parents and other friends react to your journey? Like do they know about your journey? What's been their role like throughout?
Right. So when it comes to my parents, they were initially very apprehensive about me playing cards. I remember that I won a tournament, I shipped a tournament for 72,000 prior to starting my bankroll challenge at like 5 a.m. in the morning. And I remember telling my mom this, and her reaction was, "Ye kya kar raha hai? Chupchap so ja." That was her initial reaction. So this is how it started. But later on, as I spoke to my parents, they saw how I really liked the game. They actually encouraged me, and whenever I'm going through a downswing or a tough time, they're always there to help me, console me. And even recently, my father has also started playing poker, so I'm coaching him to beat low stakes cash.
Oh wow, that's so nice.
So my college friends have played like a huge part. I remember that I was always been nervous about choosing poker as a career or even dedicating hours and hours of my life to this game. But whenever I used to do well or I used to share something, they always were like, "You're proud. We are proud of you." So my having friends who don't know anything about the game still unconditionally support me is like a great thing.
Absolutely makes sense. So once you started playing poker with MPC with the bankroll challenge, you started with a 50,000 bankroll, I suppose.
Yeah.
So like, where did you get that 50k bankroll? Because I don't think as a 20-year-old you have access to that kind of money, like just lying around. So how did you start with the 50k? Where did you get that money?
Yeah. So the first 50k was through a random tournament that I satied in through, and I remember coming third for about 72,000. I believe it was the Saturday eliminator on Pokerstars, and like it was a 220 rupee sati. At that point in time, I had like 300 rupees in my Pokerstars account, and I decided to play that sati, and I got a score of 72k. And since then, I decided to spend the money wisely and actually make something out of it instead of just punting it at higher stakes and then repeating the whole process again.
Makes sense. Nice. All right. So actually your bankroll started from 300 rupees and not 50k, if you just think about it in those terms.
I mean, you could say that, but I did bust my bankroll 6 times prior, so I would just like 50k to be a decent starting point.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about your bankroll challenge and how your journey from like how you come from 50,000 to this number that now you're doing a 30L to 1 crore challenge. A lot of people who get into poker have this habit of busting their bankrolls a lot, like how you were also just mentioning. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to know how you've taken this journey from 50,000 to 30 lakhs and now are also pursuing 30L to 1 CR. So what's keeping you motivated? How's your entire journey been like? So like, let's just try to deep dive a bit into that so that others can.
Right, sure. So initially, my first challenge was actually 50,000 to 5 lakhs. And I didn't plan on doing a challenge other than that. So my first bankroll challenge is actually the hardest for me. I remember struggling a lot, getting used to grinding every day, trying to listen to other people's opinions, except when I'm wrong, and play the lower stakes for as long as I can and consistently play the stakes with proper bankroll management. So that was honestly the toughest part, because usually I am in the habit of jumping stakes even without 10-20 buy-ins for the stake.
Also, during this period, I think 4-5 months into the challenge, your like poker got banned in Karnataka. You were in Karnataka at that point, and then poker got banned, right? So how was that like? What were your plans? Were you planning to shift out, quit? Like, what was that like?
Right. So my first journey has actually been my longest and the most testing for me. So when this poker ban happened, I believe it was during COVID as well. So I didn't have a social life then, as college moved to online, and my only hobby at that time was poker. So I didn't have a hobby as well. So those 3-4 months were, I think, the toughest 3-4 months of my life. I remember just scrolling through Discord, looking at people's scores and feeling left out. So at this point in time is when MPC actually helped me a lot. I just remember opening Discord at like 12 a.m. out of sheer boredom, and I saw that there were 5-6 people in the group voice chat, in the public voice chat on MPC. And these guys, so this was people like Nitin, Kumar, Devakar, Rishabh, Utsav, even you, Sumit bhai, Dipanjan bhai. So you guys used to come, just talk, have discussions. Someone used to stream their games. Nitin used to stream his tournaments. Bharat streamed his cash games for us. And then late at night, well, that would be like at 6 a.m. in the morning. For poker players, that's late at night. We would play games like Scribble and Among Us and stuff like that. So like having people that you could bond with, not being alone when your only hobby is taken from you was very important for me.
That's true. Makes sense. So do you remember that day when the ban got lifted? I remember I had a brief conversation with you, I think on Discord chat. So do you remember that particular day when the ban got lifted? Like, how was that like?
So yeah, that felt incredible. The first thing I remember, someone sent a message saying that Karnataka lifts ban on online gaming. And I remember opening a poker site and seeing that they've resumed action. So the first thing I did was write a mail to Pokerstar and ask them when they're going to unblock my account and let people from Bangalore play again. That was the first thing I did as soon as I woke up.
Nice. Soon after that, your journey to 500k was complete, like within a month or month and a half, if I'm not wrong.
Right. It was smooth sailing after that. I was able to jump stakes from 10.25 to 25.50 very quickly, and I short took 25.50 with 70 buy-ins, so about 3.5 lakhs, and I was able to reach 5 lakhs in 1.5 months.
Right. You also bring the tournament, I suppose, through. Like I've followed your thread a lot, and I think a lot of your accomplishments have come through like tournament shifts. Like you've been some big tournaments in middle here and there. How has that experience been like? How have your MTT, like how have you gotten into MTTs in the few of those you've played?
Sure. So I'll talk about an MTT in part 1. So when I did my 50k to 500k challenge, I remember on the day 3 or day 4 of the challenge, I shipped a tournament for like 45,000. So that instantly doubled my bankroll. But that was like the only major tournament that I had shipped during this part. And once I had completed that challenge, I did another bankroll challenge that was from 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. I decided that since being accountable publicly and having a little pressure on me, and the fact that people are going to be watching, they're going to be asking questions, actually forced me to play better, be punctual, and actually study the game. I decided that I would do another challenge and I would do it publicly through MPC as well. So that was from 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. And I remember having about 5,500 rupees as bonus money on a poker site. And that was the only money I had. And I played a poker tournament on a whim. It was out of sheer boredom. I decided to play a poker tournament. And I ended up finishing third, I believe, after a deal for 3.3 lakhs.
Alright, so this was in your second journey from 500k to 1000k.
Yeah, so that put my bankroll to around 8.5 lakhs, and I short took 50-100 from there. And luckily I have been running super hot on 50-100, and I believe it only took me like 12 days and I made over 15-20 buy-ins, and that challenge was done. So that challenge I believe lasted 3 weeks at 2-3 weeks at maximum.
Wow, so 5L to 10L was just 3 weeks in total. Wow, that's super motivating for others, I guess. And then right after that, I think you just got into 10L to 30L. What keeps you motivated through these journeys? Like once you, so like I know a lot of people who set out an expectation, set out a goal, and then once they get there, they need a break, they need to celebrate and stuff like that. But you've just been jumping from one challenge to another. What keeps you motivated through these challenges? Like how do you do it?
Right. It's really simple. It's just the money. Like as a kid, like as a guy who's going to college, right? I started making more money than I could spend. Like I had more money than what I knew what to do with. I didn't
Mhm.
need any pocket money from my parents. I used to buy my parents gifts. I used to get my brother stuff he wanted. I used to buy myself random stuff. So I was just the money. Like I enjoyed having money and I wanted more of it. And I knew that as long as I worked towards it, I'll be able to make it.
Nice. So that brings me to a very interesting question. So you mentioned how you quickly transitioned from being a 10 NL player to like a 200 NL player at this point in a year and a half. How has this quick transition in stakes affected your real life? So like at one point you had 50,000 rupees and 2 years later now you have a healthy 35L bankroll. How has that change in terms of blinds, change in terms of just the money that you had affected your real life? Have you become like, are you spending more money than you were? How's it like?
So I would like to make one thing clear that my emotional maturity has been the same from playing 510 to 100 200. I cry about losing money, I celebrate about winning money. Whether it's a buy-in that I lose, I would still rant about it on Discord no matter what the amount is. So that has been the same. But when it comes to spending money, so after completing my most recent challenge, I decided to give myself a gaming PC because I would need it to run advanced sims. Other than that, I honestly don't spend any of my money because my main focus is to build a very big role as soon as possible, and spending money would just get in the way.
Makes sense. So about that gaming PC that you were talking about, like how is that? Like, are you done with the PC? Have you already built your PC? I'm really interested into PCs myself, so I'm just trying to little geek out into that.
Right. So honestly, I don't know anything about PCs. Like I'm a finance guy. I do not care about computer components. I just like a PC with fancy lights and it should look expensive. That was like my thing, and like run my sims. So I just wrote a message on my bankroll thread itself that I need a gaming PC. My budget is about 1.5 lakhs. I was willing to spend that much for my new setup, and I want help. So I remember someone from MPC, I believe it was Angiras, he immediately replied with a list of specifications of PC parts in detail along with their estimated online costs and with links, with Amazon links to the parts. And he told me that build a PC under 1.5 lakhs with these components and it would run anything that you wanted to run. After I completed my 30 lakh challenge, I remember telling Dipanjan bhai this, that I'm going to build a gaming PC for myself. I actually announced it publicly, but I did DM him that I'm going to be doing this, and I decided to build a PC offline. And so this happened when I was getting my PC built at like a custom PC shop. I remember getting a message out of the blue from Dipanjan bhai itself saying that congratulations on completing your 50k to 30 lakh bankroll challenge. MPC has decided to gift you a Ryzen 9 5900X processor for your achievement. We want to be a part of your celebration.
Right.
So this was something incredible. MPC already gave me a platform to interact with regs, improve my game, and on top of that, they were willing to gift me a processor worth
Right.
30k for nothing in return. So this is incredible.
Right. So I'd let you know a little inside detail about this one. So I remember having a conversation with Dipanjan and Sumit about this, about you completing that entire bankroll journey in a year and a half.
Okay.
And then Dipanjan was kind of emotional about it, like how Aman started with such small stakes and now is playing the highest stakes. Of course, he deserves a PC. So I think MPC should be a part of his journey. And now he wanted to contribute something in those terms. And I think he only came up with the idea of gifting you a processor. And now, because of you, I think Dipanjan also wanted to start with a bankroll challenges ka reward system for everyone now who completes a 30L bankroll challenge. I think Dipanjan has decided that we're going to give away a gaming setup for which would cost us approximately 1 lakh rupees. So yeah, I remember that conversation, and from there now we've built a strong reward system for bankroll challenges across the stake limits. And yeah, the 30L for a gaming PC was solely because you had that idea of getting a gaming PC at 30L ka bankroll. So yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Like, can I start my challenge all over again so I can get a setup worth 100k, or is that out of the question? But
No, I mean,
anyways, like it came as such a big surprise. I remember Dipanjan bhai was responsible for my first live poker experience. So I would like to tell you a little about that as well.
please.
So I actually had no idea about live poker or how it works, as I live with my parents and I hadn't really been to Goa alone.
Right.
So this would be my first live poker experience, and I decided that I would message Dipanjan bhai. This was in the middle of my 10 lakh to 30 lakh bankroll challenge,
Okay.
and he instantly booked my flight ticket and my hotel room. So normally you fulfill your obligation at the casino, like you give them certain hours and then you submit them your invoices and then they reimburse you for your flight and stay.
Correct.
But since I approached Dipanjan Bhai, he instantly got me a 5-star hotel, a flight, a VIP treatment at the casino for absolutely nothing for him. And he made my first live experience memorable. I remember the first time I stepped foot into the casino and I entered the poker room, he was there waiting for me. He gave me a hug and he was like, I'm not here to play, I'm just here to wish you good luck. So that was like a really like heart-touching moment. So he's been like a huge part.
So since then, I think you and I both have been to Goa multiple times, and we've spent enough time at the grind house which exists in Goa, MPC ka. So how has your? I know my experience, and I would be thrilled to talk about it, but I want to hear from you. How has your experience with the grind house in Goa been? Like?
Right, so I'm actually at the grind house right now. I've been staying here for about 16 days. And my flight is actually tomorrow. So I think this has been like the best 16 days of my life, because I remember speaking to these guys on Discord. They just used to be usernames with a random profile photo. I didn't attach a face to them, I didn't attach a personality. I knew what some of them sounded like because of our regular voice chats, but I didn't actually get to know any of them. To me, they were just strangers who I used to speak to occasionally. So yeah, I decided to go to Goa for a long trip, and Sumit Bhai told me that don't stay at a hotel, don't get an Airbnb, just come to the grind house, they'll be happy to have me. So my experience has been great, and I've had all the people who have actually helped me throughout the journey just come chill at the grind house. So there are actually 10 of us here right now, and these have all been people who have been a major part of my journey. So it's been a fun bonding experience with the guys, and we went partying recently. So I mean, life is good.
Absolutely, I could second that for everything that I have, because I've had a very similar experience with the grindhouse myself over the past couple of months. So I guess we got digressed along the journey wala question. So maybe we can just come back to it and probably discuss your 10L to 30L wala journey and like how that Bankroll challenge went. So could you just walk us through what went on when you went from 10L to 30L, that third Bankroll challenge?
Right. So actually deciding to do this challenge was actually a very important decision for me, because I had just graduated from college and I decided that if I were to do a challenge of this magnitude, I would have to give 1 year to poker. And I decided to go through with it because the money was great, I was having fun, and I wanted to have an experience in Goa and play live, meet friends. So this is how I decided to do this challenge. And from the start to the finish of this challenge, I became a full-time professional poker player. Prior to this, I was completing my degree alongside poker.
Right. So, what stakes did you start with, and what stakes did you finish, and like how comfortable are you at those stakes right now?
Sure. So I started with 50-100, and as I had mentioned before, I ran really hot throughout 50-100. I remember winning around 40 buy-ins in just a month. So 50-100 was going extremely well. The fields were surprisingly soft on stars, which usually does not happen, and there were no good players, there were no regs other than me. So I was able to print money, and with 70 buy-ins, I decided to aggressively short take 200 NL, so that's 100-200. But throughout the short take, I was very selective with my with the tables and the games I played. Like even if the tables were good, if I didn't get a good seat, I would just leave, because I was taking a shot with a lower bankroll than I'm comfortable with.
Makes sense. How long was this entire journey? How much time did it take you to go from 10L to 30L?
Right, so this 10L to 30L journey took about 3 months, I believe.
Wow.
Majority of it was through cash game winnings. So this is winnings from at Pokerstars from 50-100 and 100-200. And the last final bit, I believe from 20 lakhs to 28 lakhs, was through an MTT score that I got on a Sunday. I believe I finished third in a Bazi main event, and I was able to get this huge score which boosted my bankroll.
So all of your bankroll challenges have had a Kala takeoff at MTT, like right from the first one where you had a 45k score, then the 3L and now the 10L.
The 8 lakhs, yeah. So although my MTT volume is maximum 10 tournaments a month, and this would be like I play 2 Sundays in a month when smaller sites and big sites have like their main event. I would play the last flight of day 1 and then play day 2 the same day. And yeah, I've just been fortunate. I've ran hot, I guess. And yeah, MTTs have played a huge role, but my primary focus is always cash games, and most
Okay.
of my money was also made through cash.
Alright, so that's about your entire journey from 50k to 30L, which you, I believe, stand at right now.
Right.
So what's your plans in regards to future right now? Like, what are your future plans? What are you looking to do now? Are you trying to delve into licensing since you've been in Goa for a while? What's your plan?
Right. So initially, I actually thought that it would take me exactly 1 year from graduation to reach 100, 200. But luckily, I was able to have a bankroll which is overrolled for that stake in only 3 months.
Right.
So now I've decided that I'll try and push from 30 lakhs to 1 crore.
Wow.
So I have been playing a little bit of live poker throughout this, but honestly, I'm just going to stick to online because I find it easier to study, and it's easier to put volume, so there's less amount of variance in it.
Nice. So you're continuing now with the fourth bankroll challenge, which is 30 lakhs to 1 CR, and
Yep.
you're doing with MPC itself. I know the thread. So any of you who'd like to follow Aman's journey, I think you're the person who's documented literally every day of your journey in your bankroll thread. So if any of you are looking to follow what Aman has been through, like there's literally every up and down in your journey in your bankroll thread. So like for anyone of you who'd like to follow it, please go to MPC's Discord and you'll find the Flame Boys thread, right? How's Flame Boy? What is Flame Boy?
I believe it was like it's my YouTube username, and I made it when I was like 9 years old. So I'm like, ठीक है, Discord पे भी यही डाल देते हैं.
So winging it.
Earlier, flame was spelled wrong because I was just a child, but this time I spelled it right. I'm like, okay, I'll make this my Discord, and yeah, that's how it's been ever since.
So yeah, so you can find Aman's all the bankroll details in the Flame Boys chat thread on Discord if you'd like to. And now you're doing a 30L to 1 CR bankroll challenge. So very, very good luck to you from my side and from MPC's side. Yep, so I think that's pretty much all the questions that I wanted to ask you. I would love if you have some suggestions for any of the people associated with MPC, and for just people who are trying to make it as a poker professional. Any words of advice or wisdom from your side?
I don't consider myself as like an established player. I still think I'm taking baby steps. But for people who have like a small role, like in the tens, thousands, or even like around 5,000, I would say that poker is a very lucrative profession in India. It is very easy to make money, provided you work hard and you exploit the resources available to you. In my case, I exploited MPC to the maximum. I used to bother people that I found on the community all the time. I used to go through their library of free books that they offered, and I used to watch videos in their study video suggestions. And yeah, so to build a foundation or even to get started, that I would believe that use free resources. It's easy. You don't always have to spend a ton of money on coaching.
Right. So that's every serious question that I had in the book for you. Now it's time for a little fun. I have prepared a short section of rapid fire questions for you. So let me know whenever you're ready. We could just get into it quickly. It won't take more than a couple of your minutes.
Oh boy, this wasn't in the script.
Yes, sir.
Chalo.
There's always a fun masala element on our podcast. All right. So let's quickly start with. I have not more than 10 questions in that. So not more than 2 minutes. All right. So let's jump into the rapid fire section now. Aman, I think you're ready. Are you ready?
Yep, let's go.
So who is your inspiration?
Sharad Rao.
Best poker player?
Dan Kate.
Best poker player in the Indian circuit?
Oh, that's a tough one. I would say my friend Bharat Wadhwani for me.
Wow, nice. Money or fame?
Money.
I could have guessed that. All right. So at what age do you want to retire?
As early as possible, honestly. Like, I wish I could retire tomorrow, but I would say around 30 would be amazing. And I think it would only be possible if I pursue poker and invest my money well. So yeah.
That makes sense. All right. So do you have any poker crushes? If yes, who was that?
I don't want to say it, but I mean it's obvious. Like Nikita Luthor, like damn.
Nice. All right.
He has a WSOP bracelet as well. So
can't complain. Yeah, for sure. I think almost 50% of the people playing poker would have the same answer. So yeah.
All of them have the same answer. There isn't any other answer.
I could defer to that, but yeah, it's okay. Cool. All right. So, what's your favorite TV show?
2.5 Men.
Oh, nice one. Okay. This is a fun one. Name 2 varieties of fishes.
Tuna, salmon.
Nice. I was expecting something on poker line, but yeah, I just wanted to see if you get into the actual varieties of fish or
wow. Okay.
on the table.
Oh, that's clever. That's clever.
All right. So, just tell me what's the most boring thing ever to you. First thing that comes to mind.
I guess most boring thing was actually tough.
Just whatever comes to your mind first. We could circle back. All right. How many push-ups can you do in a row?
I could do 40, but now I can do like 7.
7. Okay. Say something cool.
Follow me on Discord.
All right. So coming back to the initial question, what's the most boring thing ever? Do you have an answer to that now?
Yeah, probably studying math. Like that's always been a pain for me.
Fair enough. All right. So that's your rapid fire. So Aman, thanks so much for being here. Thank you so much for enlightening us with your entire journey and with your words of wisdom, whatever you had for us. I think people would be thrilled to get to know you more, and hopefully we'd have more of these conversations in the future going forward. But for now, thank you so much for being here, and yeah, it was
Thank you
pleasure
for
hosting
having me. It's a pleasure being on this podcast.